Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7, and we're back with another track guide. For this week's first guide, we are doing Willow Springs in Group 3, driving on the racing hard tyres. Obviously with BOP on, default setups. I'm using the BMW M6. It turns out that this car is actually pretty good for this combination in terms of the way it drives on the hard tyres. Quite a surprise, because on the hard tyres this car normally isn't the best, but for some reason it really does feel quite good at this combination. Probably a lot of the high-speed corners really help it out. And yeah, hopefully we can go through some tips to help you out, get you as high up on that leaderboard as we can, and try and see if we can get you a few wins at this combination. If you do enjoy these videos, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It really does help push the channel. And make sure you let me know in the comment section, you know, if it managed to improve your lap, if you went a little bit faster, if you managed to get a few wins this week. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We are going to be doing more of these obviously throughout the week. We've got nations and manufacturer that I'm going to try and get up a guide for, and daily race C if I can get it done in time. It all depends, because I'm not quite happy with the lap that I've got on that so far, but I need to get nations and manufacturer guide sorted as well. So yeah, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get on with this guide to try and help you improve at this combination as much as possible. Now, starting our lap, first thing, you probably might be able to gain a little bit more pace if you do your lap on the second run, because you might be able to carry a little bit more speed for this final corner. However, you seem to be able to do okay acceleration from that corner with the BMW because of the gearing, so it doesn't lose you quite as much. But yeah, coming into turn one, we're going to be looking between the 100 and the 50 board on the right hand side. So just past the 100 board, you can see there, we're braking nice and early, and just look how close Josetti's tyres are to the edge of the track there. That's what you've got to do. You've got to use the full width of the track to utilise as much angle into these corners, because you cannot drive onto the sand. You will obviously spin off easily on that sand. Now in this corner, you're going to go down to third gear, then back up to fourth gear as you're coming out the exit. That's going to give you better rotation, better exit speed. And yeah, you're going to have to abuse the gears a few times on this combination. Again, through here, as you're coming through here, you can see we're going to start turning the car in. You want to really get the car into the apex. So you're going to come from the wide angle, get the car nice and early into the apex. And what we're going to do here, we're going to start putting a bit of braking input in. What that's going to do is it's going to put the weight onto the front of the car to help you rotate through the corner. Then we're going to go down to third gear. This is where we're abusing the brake slightly. Back to third, then back to fourth. And you can see that's going to help rotation through the corner, and we can get on the power nice and early and carry as much speed on the exit of this corner as possible. You're going to see I run slightly wide with the left hand tyre onto the dirt there, got away with it though, and just about kept the car on the track. Now we're looking for the 50 board on the right hand side. That is your braking reference for this tricky left hand corner, and you're braking just short of that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to try and widen the line in for the uphill section. That's going to give you the ability to get on the throttle as early as possible. So down to second gear, then we're going to go back up to third gear as we get on the power, and try and get the car in a straight line. Be careful on the throttle at this point. This is where you can easily lose the rear of the car. Now at this point, on the right hand side, we're just coming into the apex. We're going to get on the brakes, down to second gear, and let the car almost coast for a little bit before going back onto the throttle and up into third gear. You want to see, you can see Josetti there with his tyres again, right on the white line there. That's to enable him to get on the power as early as possible out of this exit and working our way down into this next tricky corner. Now this corner you have to really use as much of the track. You can see Josetti there, left hand tyre, pay a note to that his left hand tyre is still on the track, but his right hand tyre is all the way on the dirt there. That's what you've got to do to utilise the width of this corner. You can see as before we're coming off the curb there, we're on the brakes briefly just to get the car rotated in, then back on the throttle as early as we can. You can see full throttle going in at this point. And that is so important, because the earlier you can get on the throttle at that point there, the more advantage you're carrying all the way down this straight. Now keep the car to the right hand side at the top of the hill here. If you do drift over to the left, you're going to understeer wide and into the desert there. So make sure you stay to the right. And now power on our way all the way down to the final corner, and possibly the most important corner on the whole lap for your lap time. So keeping the car nice and tight through there, and then letting it drift over to the left hand side track. Now we're looking for the 150 board. We're going to brake around that 150 board, but you can see we're already turning in just before the 150 board. We're starting to turn in because we want to take quite a tight line in on the right hand side. So you can see braking inputs going in at this point, and you're going to see the braking inputs staying in because we're trying to keep the weight of that car on the front tyres to help rotation through this corner. Now at this point, we're going to go back up to fifth gear and get on that throttle. You can see up to fifth gear and trying to keep the car nice and tight all the way through the corner, and that enables us to carry as much speed as possible. And now stay the car all the way to the left hand side of the track. Do not start drifting over to the right when you're on a good lap. Keep it in a straight line as possible. Stay in fifth gear and over the line for a 1 minute 10.9. So let's have a watch of that lap from the chase camera. And this is the camera that's going to show you just how much of the track you need to use. You've got to be like so accurate with your tires on the corners. You know, one mistake and you're off. You can see again on the exit there, almost onto the sand. Again on the entry, using the full width of the track. And this is where you're going to find a lot of your pace. Now, some people will say, I seem to be following your lines, you're braking, but I'm not getting as much pace. A lot of it is because of the angle you're taking into the corners, because you're not utilizing as much of the track as possible. You can see again there, full width of the track, getting it into the apex, skimming the curb. Again, this is really tricky, this section here. I find this section is where you can gain a lot of time if you get it right. You can see getting into third gear nice and early helps with the traction. And then again here you can see about using that full width of track, using some of the dirt, and then chucking. It could have been a little bit closer to the apex there. Would have enabled me to get on the throttle slightly earlier and possibly carry a little bit more speed down this straight. But do you know what? For a track guide, I think this lap is pretty solid. It's in the 1 minute 10s. That's the main thing. Now again, for this final section, this is again where you're going to gain so much lap time. We said about it before. Just turning in for that 150, and you really want to keep the car turning in, so you've got to keep the weight on the front of the tyres, but you don't want to be braking aggressive. Just a tiny bit of braking input just to keep that weight on the tyres, and then stick that car to the left hand side in a straight line all the way to the finishing line. Hopefully this will help you improve. Hopefully it can help you out in the race for Daily Race B. It's a tricky combination. You can't really do much overtaking on this track with the dirty air in Group 3 here, so qualifying is going to be vital. So hopefully we can help you start a little bit further up the grid and get some good results. Let me know in the comments if it's helped you out. I'll see you for more videos and live streams soon. Thank you.